Hi, I'm John Storms, and today I am converting a sequence over from Light-O-Rama to Xlights. Um, Now, the video I used was Andy Harrison's videos. So if you go to YouTube and search for Andy Harrison, search for his videos for these LOR to Xlights channel setup, really good videos. So I'm following what Andy did there. I highly recommend you watch those. Also, Clyde Lindsay has some good videos as well on converting over to Xlights. So this video is primarily for my own purposes so that when I screw things up, I can come back and figure out what I did wrong. So the first thing I did is I've come in and I cleaned up my channel configuration. And what I mean by that is that for my Light-O-Rama controllers, I don't have any missing channels. So, like for example, here I had some channels I wasn't using, so I went and marked them unused. Some things I've migrated over to pixels or RGB, and I deleted the channels, but I went back and filled them in. So the main thing is that you don't want to have gaps in your Light-O-Rama channels. And that's pretty much the only requirement. So you want to make sure that your channels are contiguous. So if you have a Light-O-Rama CTB16, that you have all 16 channels there. Some other things I did is I renamed some of my channels. I moved my porch lights around. Um, these are all optional. I actually redid my master tracks, which was very hard. And I've added some of my universes for next year. And I also went through and made sure I wasn't skipping any universe. I unpixel packed my trees so each tree has its own universe. But again, these are things that I just did because I wanted to clean up my configuration in general, so scale. It's not necessary for switching over to Xlights. Okay. Of course, you might recognize the song. This old Christmas classic.
Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg.
Yeah, we all love that one. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to pull this into Xlights. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to go and I'm going to update the version of Xlights that I'm running. And I don't know what the site is, but it's easy to find. You do a search on Nutcracker123, and then you get the latest version of the software. I'm sticking with the production software right now. Actually, this is, what's this, 432? Let me see what I'm actually running here. Oh, I'm already running 432. Okay, no need to get the newer version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in a new directory because I've been playing with this a lot. So I'm going to say let's create a new folder, call this import test. Okay, and then my media, well, that's going to live where my media has always lived, which is in my audio directory. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, Andy showed this really well, and this made it a lot easier. Is we're going to we're going to rough it in. Okay, so it's just like construction. We're going to rough this part in, and I know that in my configuration, let me actually go open up my channel configuration quickly. So when I look at my universe assignments, right now I am going up to universe 55. Okay, now even if I was skipping universes and stuff like that, it doesn't matter. I have 55, so you need to have universes 1 through 55 represented. Okay, that's just what Xlights is going to use, especially for this roughing out part. So I come in here and say add E131. I'm just going to leave it at multicast, even though it's not. I can come back and clean this up later. And I have 55 universes, and I'm going to say they all have 510 channels each. Okay, I click OK, and it added them all. Alright, so now I have channels to represent everything, right? Probably a lot more because I don't use the full universes for most of these, not even close. So now I go to the Convert tab, and you can choose files, and I'm looking for LMS files, and I am looking for 2016 Batman smell. No, actually, I'm looking for test because I saved it as test. Okay, so my output format, I want it to be in F sequence because I do plan on putting this on a Falcon Pi. I want to turn the channels off at the end. That's just personal preference, but this is important. Map the empty LMS channels. Do not map the channels without network. So when you say map empty LMS channels, that means, okay, well, if you know that Eve, you may not have used it in this particular sequence, but you want that channel mapped over anyway, right? Because we're roughing it in, and the whole goal here is to get a finely tuned setup. So we want to make sure it's represented. Now, map LMS channels with no network, we want to skip those. So in my sequences, I have a lot of channels that I use for just for timing, but I don't actually control lights. I don't want to turn those on because I don't want those to be mapped to a channel. And then verbose channel map is just if you want to see a lot of output. Time resolution, typically most people keep it at 50 milliseconds. It's a good resolution. All right, and then you hit start conversion. Okay, and over here on the right you can see the conversion messages going back and forth. See, and it's telling me all the unmapped channels, which is fine. You keep an eye on that just to make sure you don't see any real channels go by. And if you do, that means that you don't have it set up as a DMX channel or a Light-O-Rama channel. Now in mine, I've converted all of my channels over to DMX, but you can do Light-O-Rama as well. You just have to keep those at the top. That's what this message on the top here means. Okay, so it's done. So what I want is actually this information here. So it's mapped a total of 11,490 channels. But I want to scroll up here because the part that I want is this. What they've done here, and the way Andy explains, is this right here is the information you exactly need to set up your setup tab properly. Okay, so I copy that. I'm going to open up a notepad. I'm just going to drop it in right there. So right here, Xlights has given us a clue, the clues that we need to set up our setup tab just right. And this is important because we need to do this so that things will import correctly. If this is off by even one channel, it'll throw everything behind it off by one, which will make your display look funny. So what I do through here is I come in and let's see, so here it's these guys are basically universes 1 through 13 have 375 channels. Okay, and this is my actual configuration. Like I said, I'm doing this mostly for myself. So 375, universe 12 is 375 as well. That's because each of these trees has 125 pixels times 3 is 375. And you gotta make sure you don't actually drag them out of order, which I almost did right there. Because order is important here. Actually, I don't know if that's true. It may not be. I'm a little skittish about that sort of thing. If I keep it in order, the chances of doing something wrong are a lot less. 375. I do use unicast, so at some point I will come back when I actually get to the point where I want to be able to control lights here. I will come back and I will switch these to unicast and specify the IP addresses. But I'm not going to do that here because I plan to cheat to make it a little easier on myself. Oh, oh no, I deleted one. I added it back, and let me guess, it put it down at the bottom. It's gonna let me drag it? No? I could swear I drug it before. Yeah, it lets you drag it. That's a pain. Okay, so now it's right. So let's see. 375 all the way through here. Now 14 is 64 channels. You see, you also get to see how to recover from mistakes in the process. That's free. That's a bonus. This one's 48. These are the universes that are containing my Light-O-Rama equipment. 14, 15, and 16, 17. Those are the ones I'm using for those. The reason I'm not using one is because they're in 4 different parts of the yard. So let's see, channel 16 is 32 channels. Then 17 is 48. Then 18 is 300. That's going to be the cactus. Okay. And then all the ones that are 150 I'm going to skip for now because I'm going to come back. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cheat on those too. Okay, so 22 is 375. 23 is 375. These are my 2 big REITs that I added last year. Okay, 24 is 150. Okay, 25 through 27. Those are the 3 REITs in the middle of my house, which we also added last year. And what I'm doing is I'm changing the channel counts. That's all I care about right now. I want to get those channel counts right. Make sure they're still all in order. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Okay. 28, 150, 150. Okay, 32 is 48. Universe 42 are my 2 CMB 24D controllers, which do the floods. Okay, and then these are 150. All the rest are 150. Alright, so I'm going to say save setup. I'm going to exit out. Yeah, save everything. And now we cheat. Okay, so I go to the drive, Light-O-Rama. This is this directory. I'm going to the directory I told it to use. Let's see. Import test. Networks. Now watch this. So basically everything that I didn't change, everything that is 510 needs to be 150. So I come in here, I do go to the top, Control H, find what? Find 510. Just to be on the safe side, quotes 510. That's a little bit safer search. Change it to 150. Replace all. File, save, close. Start it up again. See, now this wasn't in Andy's video, how to cheat, how to make it a little easier. See that? So everything that was 510 is now 150. So if you have like a certain size that's really, really common, you can save that for last and make it easy for yourself. Of course, if you do it wrong, you can completely screw the whole thing up. Okay, so so now my channel configuration is pristine. This is exactly how it should be. Okay, so now when I want to go and convert a sequence, okay, what I do is I'm just going to skip the convert tab. So for all the other songs, what I do is I go into here, I go to sequencer, and I say File, New Sequence. It's a musical sequence. It asks me to pick the song. Okay, so I want to go find Batman, and then 50 milliseconds because that's what everybody uses. And now I'm going to say I want to import data. So I click on Light-O-Rama, and it says, what file do you want? So I have to go find it. It's in my sequences directory. Okay, I look for Batman. Here it is, Batman 2016. Okay, now it's giving me those same options. So I want to turn all the channels off at the end. I want to map empty LMS channels, and I do not want to map LMS channels with no network. Okay? Now, at this point, I go, oh, wait a minute. What am I supposed to do? If you look down here in the status bar, you can see it was actually doing something. So you have to be a little bit patient. This computer's really fast, but my other computer's slow, and I at first thought I had done something wrong. So now I click done, and I come over here and I say, wow, that is really underwhelming. Okay, so what you need is to add something so you can see the stuff. You need a model. Now, I'm going to go through and create a really nice model, but that's a video for another day. I need something where I can just verify that the stuff imported. So I'm going to go to models. I'm going to say new model, test import. I'm going to make this a horizontal matrix. Okay. Now let me figure out. Now if you remember before, the number that you saw fly by was 11,490. That was my total number of channels. Divide that by 3, and this is the number of pixels or nodes that I have. It's 3830. So divide this by 100, and I get roughly 38. So I'm going to say that, how many strings am I going to have? I'm going to have 39 strings. How many nodes per string? 100. Voila. Alright. And I know these aren't going to be, this isn't going to look like a show, but this will give me a representation. See, it says I have a little bit too much. See, so I made myself a little matrix. I go over my sequence. I say edit display properties, add. I'm going to apply this model. Okay, and now I say, well, I still don't see anything. Okay, well, you go right click on that, you say toggle the strands. Aha, yeah, here's all those different strands I added. Okay, all 40 of them. You're like, I still don't see anything, John. Well, now you click on the strands and you toggle the nodes, and here we should see things, but we're not. I hit this button up here, render all. Ah, there they are. Okay, so you got to remember, you got to apply a model. You got to go dig through the strands into the nodes, and then you have to hit that render button. See that? And now you can see the song. And I go to different parts, and I can see the songs playing. Alright, should we see if we actually got something? Let's see how bad this really looks here. Let's make this nice and let's make this bigger. Let's see what Batman Smells looks like encoded Matrix style.
Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg. The Batmobile lost the wheel and Joker got away. Hey! Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg. The Batmobile lost the wheel and the Joker got away. Ha ha!
Okay. So Well, I mean, it doesn't give us a perfect view. It gives me an idea that, okay, it's doing something. It's going to work. So my next step is going to be is, producing a good X model setup, or a good model in Xlights that represents all the elements on my house. But as far as importing sequences, this is how it's done.